Through its actions, Russia is destroying the international order, tramples on the principles of international law, and contributes to the destabilization of political systems for many years. We had and continue to have this awareness in Poland. Apart from military actions, and I say this as the President of Poland, we daily notice hybrid actions, airspace violations, and attacks with the help of agents of the Russian Federation. We can sense this in Poland and all over Europe, naturally and unsurprisingly. And also, as the President of Poland, we support sanctions against Russia at all diplomatic forums. We support strikes on that new fleet, as discussed both in Poland and among international formats, with Baltic countries, with Scandinavian countries. This is being discussed. We support the transfer of seized Russian assets, the transfer on all possible diplomatic platforms. We also support all kinds of diplomatic pressure on Russian citizens. I support this, and it is being done by the Polish president, as well as the Polish government. The president of the US, who nominated Trump, who will also do this with the participation of Ukraine and taking into account the interests of the whole region. We are aware that Donald Trump is the only leader in the world who is ready to force Vladimir Putin to sign peace. Yesterday, the European Union made a historic decision for Ukraine regarding financial matters and security guarantees. This decision gives Ukraine financial confidence for the coming years. Poland supported us, and we are grateful for that. If Russia prolongs this war, and such signals are precisely what the whole world is hearing from Moscow, they continue to threaten us. We will use the funds for defense, especially if they continue the war. If the world forces Russia to peace, we will use these funds exclusively for the reconstruction of our state. Russian assets remain immobile in Europe.
In matters of the coalition of the willing, Prime Minister Donald Tusk represents us. And for various reasons, it's a field that I, as President, do not enter. Also due to many years of Prime Minister Tusk's relationships with the heads of European states, and this is better for these negotiations. And as President Zelensky said, he has participated there 12 times already. I did not know these numbers, but I also guarantee for myself the principle that arises from the Constitution, to represent Poland on the international stage.
As for the MiGs, we speak so much about this. We would appreciate it. We initially said we would appreciate this offer that Poland proposed to us regarding the supply of MiGs. I want to explain what Ukraine's interest is. When you have a daily war, every pilot is in great shortage. The training and practice of a pilot takes years. And the issue is not that we don't have F-16s, albeit not new ones, but we just don't have them. That's not the point. That is, you take an experienced pilot from the battlefield, you take them from the war and send him abroad. You spend a year, sometimes 8 months, sometimes a year and a half, depending on the pilot's experience, for this pilot to return on an F-16 to fight against Russia. The difference between these F-16s and MiGs for us is only so we don't lose our pilot, because there's no need to train on MiGs, since our people are already trained. That was the request. The issue is not the scarcity of planes, the issue is the scarcity of pilots. For us today, this is an important victory, these 90 billion. It would have been very difficult, very hard for us without them. You understand this perfectly. Billion without an interest-free loan. In any case, it is linked to Russian reparations. In any case. And these are important steps. The fact that the European leaders found such a format, the fact that our team worked together with Europe on a positive solution, for us it is an enhancement. It is a signal to the Russians that there is no point for them to continue fighting, because we are supported financially, which means we will not collapse at the front. We will certainly support our army and our people. Our budget is supported by 45 billion in the year 2026 from these very funds. And well, there's nothing positive about the war's outcomes, but today, this is an important positive signal for our society.
Poland is in a state of hybrid war with the Russian Federation and with Belarus for many years. A hybrid war, I emphasize this, with hybrid attacks, pressure on the Polish eastern border with Belarus, destruction of Polish infrastructure, drone attacks on the night of September 9th to 10th. We are not the only European Union country experiencing this kind of practice from the Russian Federation.
The relocation of Oreshnik in Belarus is coming to an end. We understand where it will be located. We are passing on the information to our partners. I think the partners themselves can assess this threat and understand how to react to it. In my view, prior to this, we warned our European and American partners that Russia would be deploying arsenals on the territory of Belarus. We showed the range within which the arsenal would operate. This is a threat to many European countries, including Poland, Germany, and other countries. We showed them this. It is currently impossible to shoot down the arsenal with drones. They use the arsenal on the territory of Ukraine. We understand how to deal with this. We asked our partners to apply sanctions against companies located both on the European continent and in other places, continents, companies that sell components through third countries, which are suitable for missiles. Without these components, Russia simply cannot develop missile production. Poland accepted many Ukrainians after the start of the invasions. We are grateful for this. We remember how it was. There are sometimes challenging moments in our societies, but we as presidents must define a policy that supports us together. Without Ukraine's belonging, without our state's independence, Moscow inevitably will come here, will go further into Europe. Without our independence, Moscow will inevitably come for Poland. And that is why it is important for us to be. It is important for us to be you. It is very important for Ukraine and Poland to be. And it is important for us to be together. If our partners, including the United States and others, are making many diplomatic efforts to end the war, can our partners also pressure Russia not to deploy closer to Europe, to the borders with Poland, among others? I believe this should be addressed. Otherwise, it is difficult to understand why is Russia attacking American air defense systems on Ukrainian territory? And why are our partners not drawing conclusions about the threats on Belarusian territory, which will be controlled by the Russian Federation, undoubtedly, the Russian Federation?
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that we will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.